So.
Sir,
Mhm.
these people never back down.
No.
Once they want something, they mean it.
Yeah, but we have to. But
They instead of getting
this is why
whatever.
we have to tell our communities to go out now and tell them we are. In fact, we should mobilize our people. We do not want any foreign, no foreign bases on our land. We are sovereigns. You know.
If you look at the LGBT problem,
Yes, I
even
know.
countries that banned it 3 years ago, they are still threatening them today.
Yes.
They have even constitutionally
Mm-hmm.
have everything against it. Today they are still, you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean. Yes,
Because
of course, of
once
course. Yes, yes,
okay,
yes.
they enforce it economically,
Yeah.
militarily,
Eh,
in
covertly
so
in all
it's
ways. Always. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
so I was watching documentary about the foreign base in Ghana.
Yeah.
They said the Ghanaian government
Mm-hmm.
does not even have right to step
On.
where the military base
You
is.
see. You
They
see.
don't even have right.
You see.
When they are coming, they cannot be searched.
I mean, that's what she just said.
Okay,
Queen Selwa just
they
said
don't
that
even
now.
need.
She just.
They don't need visa to
Mm.
arrive. They
Yes.
don't need visa to go.
Yes.
That whatever once they land, whether it's one person or a group, they
Yes.
cannot be searched.
It's
I was
crazy.
like,
On our own land. Nah.
I was like,
No
what
way.
is the benefit?
Yes.
What is the benefit?
Nah. Nah.
What is the benefit
Exactly.
if you sit in my country and you are more intelligent than me? It means to say you are watching
Everything.
everything. You
That's it.
can make decisions on my behalf
Exactly.
because you have
Exactly.
my spectacle.
Yeah. Exactly.
You have my spectacle. But
No.
all this thing, I foresee this thing.
Yeah.
2023 election. I told my friend, I
Yes.
said with Tinubu,
Yeah.
a lot of things, his secrecy, the past life he
Mm-hmm.
lived over
Mm-hmm.
there,
Mm-hmm.
certificate saga. I
Mm-hmm.
say, if this guy is in office,
Mm.
he's going to help them to achieve
Ah.
because
Well. Well.
they silent, they review, they did not say anything
Well.
during
Now.
when Nigeria was doing investigation on
Yeah.
certificates or his past life, drug, whatever I
Mm-hmm.
can't measure anything that
No.
you
No.
don't
No.
understand
No. No.
because of
No.
that.
No.
So
I get it.
I
Yeah.
say if this guy succeed, there's something that this guy is going to help them through the back door with
Well, we're not.
with
Well, we're not going to allow it. To. We're not going to allow it. We can't.
but
And
there's
that's it.
something we'll be able to do that we won't be. There are some things that, sir, there
Mm-hmm.
are some things that Nigeria did 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The government did on our behalf that we are not aware.
Yeah. Sadly.
Do you
Sadly.
you do you know how long it took Nigeria to know that we are member of IOC, something
I
like
know. Yeah.
Islamic
Yeah.
whatever?
In Islamic organization of organization of OIC, Organization of Islamic Countries.
Yes.
So
Oh yeah,
yes,
exactly. But
yes,
do you know how many years it took Nigeria
I
to
know
know that we are even a
it was
member?
well into 2000s before we knew because it was done in 1998.
Okay.
So I remember, yes.
No, it was not 80 something. It
Uh,
was not 80
86,
something. It was not
86,
90.
86.
86.
Yes, I think it was 86. I
It
think
took
I've got the
over
paperwork.
20 years before
Yes.
Nigeria realized that we're even a member.
Yeah, yeah. But this time around, we like Queen Sarah said, we all know this information out there, and we should go against it. And what should really be what should be alarming us is that Niger is telling them, and like Queen Sarah said, Niger is telling them leave. America is refusing to leave.
Yes.
So we know that if we allow them to come in, to get them out is going to be trouble. So we don't even want them in the first
They
place.
have agreed to leave.
They have to.
They have agreed to leave.
Yeah.
The reason why they have agreed to leave,
Mm-hmm.
Niger go.
Hello. Go ahead. Okay, it's network. I think it's going to tell us about Niger bringing Russia, and we will talk about that as well. Because Russia, they put them in the same base. Let me see if I can get you that picture.
It's okay. Mona kill each other for what?
Yes. So he brought the. And I love what Niger did. Niger put the Russian troops right next to them in the base. It's quite it's interesting, but we need to be. But now the question I'm asking, what I'm proposing, and I'm saying is this: as Africans, we need to support the complete movement, complete shutdown of anything to do with having Africa, American or UK or French base on the African continent because they have done damage, untold damage to our people. And I wondered how people feel, what people feel about that, because it is now. I'm showing you a picture. Those of you on who are on YouTube, you will see there's a picture. In that picture, there is a base right next to the airport. Now, in that base, the when US said, "Oh, we are leaving," but they are not leaving. Niger went and brought 1,000, told 1,000 Russian troops to come and stay right next to them. Only a barbed wire goes is between the two of them, because they want to make sure that America leaves. Now, the thing is, we on the one hand, it's good because, yeah, it's going to make them leave. On the other hand, we don't want them to go and starting off any World War III on the African continent. We don't want to get involved in their problems. We just want to make sure that Africa we start utilizing our resources for our people. So, again, I hope people will realize that, particularly the Nigerian government, that once you say yes to UK or US or French or any other European country, they will not leave your country. That's what they do. They will dig their heels in. They will put their claws in, do everything they can to not leave. And we cannot allow that to happen. In fact, the whole of Africa must now come together. And that's why you see the map. If you look at the map behind me, on the side where you have Ibrahim Traore, General Chiani, Assim Goita, and President Faye of Senegal, all of them, the maps are there, the flags are there. That is where Africa is. To the side, I've moved the French and the US. They are out of Africa. It is about psychology. This is about psychologically making sure that every part of Africa says now. We now want hello, Kimbell. Hello. Hello, Kimbell, my brother. Hello. Welcome on board. Let me just, I'm going to follow you back. Yeah, I saw your brother. I will be adding you. We're going to have more discussions. I'll be having a discussion on Thursday on the Africa Zoom 54. And you're welcome to join us. I've got a couple more names that I'm going to add. And I think on Thursday this week, we'll be having a Africa Zoom 54 meeting again. And this is probably going to be one of the topics we'll be talking about. We need to make sure, and in our communities, to make sure that our communities across the whole of Africa, that we all say, none of us, no part of Africa wants any US base, any French base, any UK base. None of their bases, we don't want them on African continent, because they have been doing enough damage to the African continent. They are destroying the cohesion in our communities. And like Queen Sarah said, there are a number of things in terms of medically that is being done. I don't want to say too much. And the kind of food that we're eating, we have to be careful, and all kinds of diseases. And it always seems to be, we cannot trace it. Hello, my brother. Let me just quickly answer you back. Let me answer Kimbell and those of you reply. Hello, bro. Hello, my brother. So let me put that there. Okay. It was so now we have to make sure, and this is the kind of message we need to be getting across to everybody in all parts of Africa. We need to start making sure people know that anytime there is a French, a US, a UK, a German, forces coming in, when they say they are coming to help us, they're not coming to help us. They are coming to cause confusion, chaos, and create a situation whereby we'll now be reliant on sort of medications that they will be providing. We have to be self-sufficient, and we need to start exercising our collective sovereignty as African nations. That is very, very much important for us to do. So we're coming out and we're saying we need to support the Alliance of Sahel States. The Alliance of Sahel States was what made South Sudan or Congo. Why is African Union not stopping wars in the continent? Yes, of course we need to sort it out. Yeah, of course we need to sort it out. The thing is, Africa should be allowed to sort it out themselves. There is too much interference from foreign bodies. Too much. African Union is a puppet of the European Union and the US. ECOWAS, the same. They are not in control. You can, and why do I say so? Because the Alliance of Sahel States now has shown us. So let me take that picture back and we bring this here. The Alliance of Sahel States has shown us that Africa can and indeed are working together. Now we have three nations, three independent nations, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, all working together to say if you attack one, you attack all. So we need to grow, we need to widen the Alliance of Sahel States. We need more African states. And that's why you see the picture. I hope Senegal will be looking into that as well. And my brother Aaron Mose talked about Gabon being a force. And I did say it myself. When I saw the Gabon coup, I thought, this may be a French way to head off anything that will happen and to take off the energy. But they are not going to stop this call for Africa to assert our control on our land. Nobody is talking about going to Europe or going to US or going to China or going to Russia to disrupt anything they're doing. We are saying we must exercise our right and control over our land, and we must have complete sovereignty, and that is what we want. If any time you have a foreign country having bases in your land, you are not a sovereign. Anytime you have a foreign base in your land, you are not a sovereign, and that's the point. No, but listen, PH, have I said Europe is bad? I haven't said Europe is bad. I'm saying that the operations, the actions of those bodies, EU bodies in Africa, is destroying Africa. I'm saying it freely. There's good roads in Europe. There's hospitals. There's all of these things. The problem is, and now I'm glad you talked about it, PH. The problem is that when the policies adopted, imposed, the policies imposed upon Africa by US and Europe, i.e., no subsidy. The policy of the West has been that the African countries must not provide subsidies to their farmers and must not, they tax us, we are given unfavorable tax interest rates on our loans. Whereas the loans that Europeans give among themselves, the loan is next to nothing. And this is harming Africa. And don't forget, they are also the currency that they impose on Africa. The currency that was imposed on Africa. Yes, leave us alone. Exactly. The currency that is used in Africa, for example, SEFA, it makes our mineral resources worthless. So, PH, if you are really honest about if you are really honest, you know the answer to what you're asking me. You already know. I'm not saying I want the people of Europe to enjoy good governance. It is their right. Equally, Africans have that right. And the actions of the European government, not the people, European government and the US in the African continent has impoverished Africans. And that is what we are saying. So please do not miss. I'm very comfortable. We can discuss this. Immigration, for example, the reason why Africans are going into leaving Africa and going into Europe to try and survive is because the policies that the European government and the US impose on Africans by destabilizing African continent, by making sure that they can go and take our resources, means our people cannot live their lives in peace there. So when you are talking about, why do you want to come to Europe? You are chasing us out of our own land by the policy. Not you, PH. The governments of Europe, not the people, the government, the collective governments, the EU, the NATO, the US, they are making the lives of the people in Africa unbearable. That is what we're saying. So the government is one thing, the people is another. And many people in Europe are against the actions of their government. Many people in Europe. A guy from Serbia said, yes, it is time. I stand with the Niger. They must stand up for somebody from Serbia said that to me on my broadcast. They said we support Niger for standing up against US. That's the reality. So they are refusing, exactly. They are refusing to leave West Africa. Exactly. So a very good case now, France don't want to leave. They don't want to leave Niger alone. They don't want to leave Gabon. They don't, and but you can then you come and say, oh, why are we coming to Europe? Because Europe is making sure that Africa is destabilized. Because US is making sure that Africa is destabilized. And this, not the people, the governments, not European people collectively, the governments are using levers to make the lives of Africans unbearable on their own continent. And that is what we're talking about. So I'm happy to have that discussion with you, PH. This is not about, I'm not here talking about spewing hate. I'm talking the people of Europe. Many of them are against what their government is doing. That is the reality. Many people in Europe are against the government policies that is deliberately impoverishing Africans on our own continent. There is a moral issue here. There is a moral issue. A moral issue that people, thank you very much, Dana Tete, that people in government will ignore the impact of their actions that they've imposed on Africa. How can France be taking 500 billion euros every year from all the 14 African countries, force them to use safer that they don't use? They print safer for these countries. France has effectively made itself God over Africans. France has effectively made itself the God of Africans. You print the currency they use. You decide the value of their resources. You decide about if they want who first refusal on our resources. But what are you for what on what basis? That is why we must support. That is why you see those men in the pictures there. Ibrahim Traore, General Chani, Assimi Goïta, President Faye of Senegal. That's Africa now saying enough. Like President Faye said, we must tell France and all the colonial governments, all the European governments and the US government that Africa is saying it. You must get your feet off our necks. You must get your feet off our necks. Thank you very much for the rules, Dan Tete. Thank you. You must get your feet off our neck. You can't be preaching to us about democracy and sovereignty, and then in the same breath, now preventing us from exercising our right to protect ourselves, to send you out of Africa because of the destructive pattern that you've laid, that we can all see. Everybody in Africa now sees that the West, their plans for Africa is destructive. It is harming Africans, and they don't want Africans to speak. And we must speak up for ourselves. We have to speak up for our people. Like I said, this is not a quarrel with the people of Europe or the people of US. We are talking specifically about the governments of Europe, the government of US, the West of Canada. These are bodies that are coming together and making the lives of Africans unbearable on the African continent. And they do so in the knowledge that they can take everything, you see, they wait for confusion. They create confusion on the African continent. And in the confusion, when we are fighting each other, they will just go into those areas. They know the areas where we have mineral resources. And at night, these governments go to those areas and take our resources. This is happening all over Africa. This is happening all over Africa. I kid you not. Congo is one example. Until recently, Niger, Central African Republic, Nigeria. Africans, we need to wake up. This is why I'm telling you, when I talk about as Africans, if you are focused on what that religion is designed to keep you occupied, so you don't see what is happening around you. The religion wants you to look upwards and keep begging to some guy that will never come down and help you. whilst the people who are doing you serious harm are taking away your resources and making your lives hell. It's time we woke up. So I say it collectively, on the whole. Yes, of course it's up to us. It's up to us, and that's what we're trying to do now. That is what the Alliance of Sahel is doing now. The Alliance of Sahel, you're absolutely right, PH. Yes. If now in Burkina Faso, they have now built their own refineries to refine their own gold. They don't want it to go outside anymore. In what's this country now? There's a country in the east. They're now doing all the gold, all the diamonds now. Is it Botswana? I think it's Botswana. They are going to be they'll be cleaning and refining their own diamonds. That is what we need to do. I agree with you, PH. But what we are saying is we no longer want interference from the Western government. We haven't got a problem with the European people. It's the governments. We haven't got a problem with the US people. It's the government. The governments are clandestine in their operation. They're using military. Why must you have a military base in a sovereign country? Why? Why must you have a military base in a sovereign country? A base that the people that allowed you to have that base will not be allowed to go and monitor what you're doing. Why? Why? These are questions we are asking the governments of the Western powers. We're not talking about the Europeans. We are talking the European people. We are talking about their governments. And that is what this program is about. So when we are talking about kicking out the bases, we know what the governments are using. The Western governments, UK, US, France, Germany, Canada, Australia, they all use those bases to cause destabilization across the whole of Africa. When they say we are going to restore peace, we are bringing UN peacekeepers to come and keep peace. It's a lie. It's a cover for them to go in and destabilize those many African countries. Sudan, for example. What's happening? Ethiopia, for example. Until recently, Niger, Central African Republic. Everywhere across the whole of Africa, the policy, when they tell us, oh, we are creating peace, I am talking about the government of Europe, not Europeans. I hope that makes sense. I am talking about the governments, not the European people, the European governments. That is what, there's a clear distinction here. I'm making a clear distinction. And that is what we are saying here, PH. Because you're asking a question there. He said it's up to Africans to have their own bank, their own money, their own infrastructure and import. I just told you. We don't need armies in Africa. Then why is it that France is refusing to leave? Okay, I get you. PH. Why is it that France is refusing to leave Niger when Niger have expressly told them leave? Please explain that to me. Why is the French government refusing to leave? Why is the American government refusing to leave Niger when Niger has told them you must leave? So it runs counter to what you just said now. We don't need armies in Africa. The responsibility for Africa is the African Union for hostilities. But why? Please, why? Since it seems like you might be an European, and that's good. We can talk about this. But please explain to me, when Africans have expressly said, please, we don't want you on our soil, leave. US and France are refusing to leave. Why? Why? Well, you know what? We're doing better than that. In Niger, for example, you know what Niger did? Niger put the Russian army next to the US army in the same base. Yeah. You know what's happened now? So that is now forcing the hand of US to leave. And over time, I am saying it, we don't need US. We shouldn't be. I think it's time to educate a lot of Europeans. All of these bases that is being set up in Africa is designed to cause destruction. You may not be aware, PH. It sounds to me you're a very clever guy, PH. But you may not know. Yeah, it's at war. King Bell, thank you. Every African country is at war. That is what exactly. Let me pin that comment right there. So, PH, you may not be aware, but many of the European governments, they send troops, young men, young innocent Europeans, to come to Africa and cause and the US to cause damage, to cause destruction. These young men don't know. And that is why we are doing programs like this to raise awareness. Maybe you can help us share that message to French young men, to UK young men, and others that look, this is what is really happening. And when we as Africans are saying, yes, Europe and America says there's a humanitarian crisis, there's an immigration crisis. Well, the fact of the matter is that when the military bases create problems on the African continent, people flee. Guess where they're going to flee? They flee to Europe, they flee to US. Who created the problem by putting the armies in Africa to cause destabilization? There is a correlation, is what I'm saying. So when you are going to, when the thing that is terrible that the Western governments, European governments do, oh, we're going to stop immigration, but you do not stop the cause of the immigration, which is the destabilization of the African countries via your military bases on the African continent. That is the reality of it. PH, I hope that makes sense to you. I'm not here to attack. It's not a personal thing. Look, it is going to be on a mutual understanding. And that is what is being done. Right now, PH, what is being done, up till now, France did not allow the people of Niger to express their sovereignty, to freely trade with whoever they wanted. France stopped it. France took uranium from Niger for 40 years straight. Go look it up. France stole uranium from Niger, from Burkina Faso, 40 years straight. And they forced them, any minerals that you see on your own soil, France has forced refusal. And so it's not even a question to even now tell us to now question what Russia is doing. The people who are in government now, they have the support of the people. If you go and look at Ibrahim Traore, look at the amount of Africans who are supporting what he's doing. If he goes anywhere, of course, France ripped off Ivory Coast. Exactly. They've ripped off Ivory Coast. They've ripped off all the 14 African countries, not just Ivory Coast. And we need to change that. So this is a message that you need to carry. If you are European, carry that message across. It is important to understand that the people of Africa, they are not against Europeans. They are against European governments and the oppression, division, suppression, impoverishment that they have heaped on Africans for over 40 years. I hope that's clear. So this is not about hate. This is not about, it's about we Africans. And in so doing, as Africans, we have the right to express our right to sovereignty, to decide we do not want any colonial bases or their forces on the African continent, because we know the track record of those bases. The track record of the European and US bases on the African continent has to be to cause destruction. Who's speaking? Let me add UC. Let me bring in UC, my brother. Yes. Hey, yeah. Let's hear from you. A great brother from Jamaica here. Welcome, UC. Please go ahead. Let's hear from you, UC. Let's hear from your brother. Thank you.
Hi, my brother.
Hello. Yes.
It's an honor to be on your platform.
No. The honor is mine for you to join me. The honor is all mine for you joining me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, I have to take this time to talk because
Yes.
it is imperative that we have this conversation.
Yes.
And I was saying the same thing that you were saying when this guy from Ghana, the president,
Yes.
who are seemingly oblivious to history,
Yes.
bring in the American-based
on this.
country,
Exactly.
knowing fully well what America did to so many countries in
Yeah.
the Middle East.
Yes.
And he's not cognizant of
No.
that
No.
because America is a new colonialist empire who
Mm-hmm.
ran Nelson Mandela
Yeah.
a terrorist. The
Mm-hmm.
same American government who said that you should not do certain things to people
Mm-hmm.
encourages Israel to create such a phenomenon in the Middle East. Even though I'm not with the Palestinian, I'm with the African people. The hit that is happening in Palestine, we're supposed to be cognizant of that and take corrective measures so that we will not make the same mistake that those people make.
Exactly.
But you know what happens?
Mm-hmm.
We ought to hold ourselves accountable
Yes.
because if we allow these leaders of our country
Mm-hmm.
to destroy us,
Yes.
then we are in pursuit with what the leaders are doing.
Exactly.
We're supposed to stand up against this
Mm-hmm.
nonsense that is happening on the continent.
Indeed.
Because let me tell you,
Mm.
if I'm in a car and this driver is driving recklessly down the hill,
Yes.
I am going to tell him put me out, or I'm going to get him out of the car.
Exactly.
Because he's going to put everybody
In danger.
the car life at risk.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we have had a long history of colonization.
Yeah.
And none of the European countries stand in concert with the African people.
None. None.
Look what they were doing to Niger.
Yes.
They were exploiting Niger.
40 years.
Know who is dictator, yes.
Yeah.
And they were buying the uranium
Yeah.
at 89 cents.
That's correct.
And selling it back at $200.
Exactly.
Right. Yes. And then when we decide to pull, Niger decide to say, well, hey, what happened? Let me get rid of Mohammed Bazoum.
Yes.
Because he's a sellout.
Exactly.
He's in league with the Arabs.
That's it.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
The guy from Nigeria, the president,
Yeah.
he decided to issue sanction against Niger.
Yeah, I know.
You could imagine
Tinubu.
that.
I know. Which was
Issuing
a
sanction to
a
brothers who
bad
escaped
move.
from
A
slavery.
bad move. Bad move. Very bad move.
Exactly.
Bad move.
And that in itself creates a division among people.
Yeah.
Because the leaders are influenced in the society.
Mm-hmm.
They have influential group who they influence.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make such decisions,
Mm-hmm.
you are influencing the people to look at Niger differently.
Yes.
When we are all brothers in the struggle to liberate ourselves from international oppression.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
you're bringing the very people who oppress you
Yeah.
to come and open base in your country.
No way.
That is Stockholm syndrome. 101.
Thank you.
That
Exactly.
is Stockholm syndrome.
Exactly. I mean, I would just say the government have said that they're not planning to do it, but I think they were surprised at the reaction of the people, so they had to hurry out and make a statement. But we have to keep the pressure on them so that they don't even think of even going there. But go ahead, please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, my brother. And so we have to educate our people. You know, our people are in a trouble.
Yes.
They're not aware in a trouble because of these religious industries.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
religious industry is actually parasitic institution.
Yep.
What is a parasitic institution? Anything that consume and do not contribute is actually a parasite.
Yes.
And in nature, these institutions consume every aspect of our economical and social well-being.
Fact.
Because in your
Fact.
economical well-being, they collect money every week.
Mm-hmm.
And during the week, they teaches you to pray.
Yeah.
Teaches you to give praise and thanks to a Father, a God out
Yeah.
there outside of you. You never see, you
Mm-hmm.
never know about
Yeah.
what was written by the European.
Yeah.
The people who enslaved you.
Yeah.
And you have to give, and I will give this example to people because there are 29 people in this platform, and let me give this example.
Yeah.
A man got a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and in the morning, he has to wash his feet.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, she wash his feet.
Mm-hmm.
She have to go to work. He is not working home. He's just sitting home on the chair, couch chair. At the end of the week, she has to bathe him and then give him some nice meal.
That's correct.
So you would call that man abusive, man.
Yes.
You call him abusive.
Yes. Yes.
Think about your God.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta give God praise in the morning.
Yes.
You gotta give God praise in the afternoon.
That's
you
it.
gotta give him before every meal.
Exactly.
And then at the end of the week, you go celebrate that God. But what you get in return?
Exactly. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Yes.
Zero.
Psychological abuse. Psychological abuse. That's
Mhm.
why they said, the Europeans said, no, we don't have to chain their hands no more.
That's it.
They're gonna come here, they run into Europe in boots.
That's it.
Afters.
Mhm.
That's because the people didn't change the hand, they change the mind.
That's it.
And now we have to wake our brothers and sisters
Up.
because you have to emancipate
Self.
yourself from
Mental slavery. That's it. Ourselves. Can free ourselves. Yes. Free our mind. Yes.
If we don't do that, there's another saying in the abundance
Yes.
who will go thirsty.
Go thirsty.
The richest continent on planet Earth.
Yes.
The richest continent on planet Earth.
That's correct.
But the African people, we are in a dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
All we need to do is regain back our consciousness.
Yes.
Create the objective prediction
Yes.
that is going to resonate with the future generation,
Mm-hmm.
to which we create the condition for a better Africa.
Absolutely.
We're supposed to be better than the United States.
Yes.
As a
Yes.
matter of fact,
Yes.
as a matter of fact, we are still giving them our goals and collecting paper. We need
Yeah.
to start banking our goal on the continent
That's
and
it.
give them the paper.
Yes.
Because in order for us to get value for our asset, we must use our brains.
Yes.
They are doing it to us. We used to collect mirror and all these things before, but we did done with that. The use of sophistication mechanism.
Yeah.
They print a fancy number on a paper and they say 100, 200, and they give a whole lot of that and they collect a gold and diamond.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, when they think that they have enough, they
Mm-hmm.
could change the bar in terms of economical standard
Yeah.
to which your money have to back by gold.
Mm-hmm.
Let us put bank our gold on our continent and let our gold back our resources.
Absolutely.
We must eradicate poverty within 5 years on the continent.
Yep.
Within
Yep.
5 years, we have platinum and gold.
That's it.
Those two minerals alone
Yes.
eradicate poverty for the next thousands of years on the continent.
Fact.
We have to use our brains.
It's brains now. Yes. Yes.
So, I'm so thankful that you give me such a great opportunity because I would not miss out on these opportunities to
No.
speak to my people.
Yes.
Because the system of education actually drafts our potential.
Yes.
It gives us a specific direction. It's like a bridle on the face of a horse.
Yes.
Your bridle is to guide the horse into one direction.
That's
We
it.
need to have objective thinking,
Yes.
critical thinking skills,
Yeah.
part of social science.
Yeah.
We need to do our history.
Yes.
All these things will create the condition to which we build on
Mhm.
a brighter future.
Yeah.
Because the tree without root is a dead tree.
Yeah. It
And
is.
our African brothers and sisters, they're holding on to everything.
Yeah.
Some of them calling themselves Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah.
What is Hebrew?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hebrew is actually nomads,
Yes.
right? Hebrew
Yes.
is nomadic people who have no step to direction, they travel from place to place.
Mhm.
Israelite is the acronym of the ancient Egyptian god.
Exactly.
Isis, Ra,
Dra.
Elohim.
Exactly.
Those are these different gods.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta be conscious, my brother.
Yes.
We are here to wake you up so that we can work together as a team.
That's it. Speak.
Strong movement on the continent and in the diaspora. We are all going through the same phenomenon.
Exactly.
And we must wake from this condition.
That's it.
Because together we stand or divided,
We fall.
shall truly fall.
Yes.
It is time, African brothers and sisters. We are not against you.
No.
We are not against your religion. We only against the system that creates the condition to which you can see reality.
Yes.
We want you to rise as a people. We want to stand up for what you believe in, and we want to be strong as a unit so that when they come to us, we can say no more. We are not going to stick no nonsense.
Yes.
Because we understand your spirit. We understand your intention. And therefore, you have to meet me on mutual grounds.
Yes.
No time for our leaders to make us a fool.
No.
Because religion, institutionalization of religion, is a trap that retards the mental faculty so that
Thank
you
you.
have to bow and pray. When you're bowing and praying, the political leaders are enriching themselves. The oligarchs are getting more richer.
Mhm.
While you're wasting time going in their rhetorical condition,
Mhm.
which is not beneficial to our future generation.
Absolutely
And
not.
let me tell you this.
Mm.
It infiltrates our genes and our DNA structure.
You're
our
right.
mental structure.
You're right.
Because, you know what? My brother, I'll give you a typical example.
Mhm.
In the diaspora,
Yeah.
when they capture these slaves, they would line all the pregnant women across and they slaves them and things. And they would take one pregnant woman out of that,
Mm-hmm.
tie her down to a tree, strap her, and then they bust that belly. Everybody have to watch it, ensure that you look at it.
Goodness
When
me.
the baby fall out, they stomp on that baby. And it sends a trauma in everybody's mind.
Goodness me.
But not only that,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
when you get children,
Yeah.
they're born with a fear not come from hurting neocolonial structure.
Yeah.
And so, my brother, we are on the rise.
Yeah.
We have to educate our people. We
Yes.
have to move them from the neurological darkness
Yeah.
to which they can stand and think critically, objectively,
Mm-hmm.
and push. We need to ensure that we work with our women folks.
Yes.
Because our women
Yes.
are the one who are charging new life form.
Yes.
And therefore, we have to educate that. So,
Yes.
my brother, I want to say thank you once again for
Thank
giving
you.
me such a great opportunity to speak.
Yes.
And it's always a pleasure
Yeah.
to be
Thank
here
you.
to talk to the people.
Yes.
Let them understand that we have to work together.
We have to.
We are one unit,
That's
except
it.
that we are depleted psychologically.
That's it. That's it.
Every religious structure, every system that they implanted is only in our minds.
That's
Not
correct.
in reality.
That's
We
correct.
are fighting ourselves in reality, but the structure that is in place in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And that is fundamental.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that. We have to start sterilizing back this plague that is in our mind.
Absolutely.
To create the condition to which we stand together as a people. We love our brother, we love our sister. You see how we come and talk to my brother on this platform?
Yeah.
Because he's across the globe and I'm here.
Yes.
But we connected genealogically.
That's correct.
We see each other and we feel that energy because we all share the same paradigm condition.
That's correct.
So my brother.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again.
Please, I'd love to have you back again, and always welcome as ever. You see, thank you so much. Have a pleasant day, and let's do this again. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Now, Farida, welcome on board, and everybody else. What a motivating guy. You see, thank you. You see, Rogers, thank you. I feel so inspired when my brother starts speaking truth to power, and it hits all the points. He said it, and I'm backing up what he said. Look, religion is a disease of the mind, is a disease of the mind that is designed to keep us enslaved in our own land while they take the resources. And we now must wake up. This generation knows what is going on. It is on us to fix it. Don't wait for those who created the problem to fix it. You and I. You are my reflection. I am your reflection. I am your reflection. You are my reflection. I am your reflection. We need, yes, very knowledgeable. So please, we need to wake up. These religions, I spoke before, many people, one of the things that we have to understand, and I know a lot of Africans have a deep love for Islam, a deep love for Christianity, but did you know that Islam makes it one of its tenets? When they came to our ancestors, and our ancestors with our spirituality, they welcomed everybody. They didn't care what you were worshiping. They welcomed you in. But when they were welcomed into our community, then they said, oh, no, your God is ungodly. The God that allowed them, our African spirituality, that allowed them to come and stay in the African continent, they now turned on that God and said it was ungodly. That is the action of Islam on the African continent. I kid you not. And they destroyed the history of our African spirituality in many countries. If you go to Central African Republic, many people don't know those history. If you go into some places in Mali, they destroyed it. That's the reality. Now, if you look at Christianity thought, oh, these are beautiful artifacts. They stole it, took it away, and they put the Bible and the crosses and all of that to occupy our minds. So now we need to wake up. I haven't got time for us to be focused on one religion or the other, because those religions, the more it occupies our minds, and many people need to understand. I have friends and people who can spend 3 or 4 hours on a show talking about the religion and how it's good, but that's not helping us. Yeah, what man is best at? Of course, it is, but now they're beginning to wake up. Asim Gota is trying to wake them up. I'm hoping that will be changed. Now, our enemies are not, let me see, our leader is our enemies, not the ordinary people. Exactly, our leaders. So we need to really wake up on the African continent. And so everything my brother said there is on point, is absolutely correct. We need to be raising awareness within our communities. We need to be making sure that our communities know that when they see those military bases, the foreign military bases on our continent, it is a threat to their very existence. They dress up as though they are coming to help. They are not coming to help. They are coming to destroy. They are coming to enslave. They are trying to impoverish. That is what their role is. And we need to make our people, please be aware of that fact. We need to wake up. There is a lot of work for us all to do collectively. And I urge us all. We must, to a man, start saying, every part of Africa, we don't want any colonial base, any colonial troops on our continent, because we now understand on the whole of the African continent, we are all suffering from the same malaise. I think there's about 50, maybe 100 or 200 military bases, all of UK, US, Russia, UK, US, France, Germany, Spain, on the African continent. Why is that happening? We can no longer allow it. And with all these bases, there are wars happening. And where are the weapons? How are the people who are fighting each other? How are they getting the weapons? You know? Does mean go away Mali, Somalia? Yeah, exactly. Yes, they have to leave Mali. They have to go leave Somalia. Well, Mali has kicked them out. Mali has kicked away that's why in Mali now they are part of the alliance of Sahel states. But Somalia is still having problems. And somebody came on, I saw a brother came on the show and talked to me about what is happening in Somalia, you know? So this is, of course, these are all indoctrinations. PH, that's part of what, when you have people that are given guns deliberately to go and harm themselves, that's what happens. That is a symptom. PH, you are talking about the symptoms. We are talking about the causes. You are talking about the symptoms. We are talking about the causes. When we neutralize all of those avenues to which those weapons get into the hands of those who have poor thinking, it stops them in their tracks. And that's what we're saying. Those foreign military bases, they are dens of destruction on the African continent. And it's an important message. If you are an European and you're watching this message, your government, your European government, your US government, they are going into Africa and they are impoverishing Africans. And that is what we are saying. Yes, the best for Africa is to unite. Yes, let me pin that comment. The best for Africa is to unite. And that's why we're saying it. It is time that we Africans, that we begin to make sure that to a voice, every part of Africa. So Ghana must say to UK and to US, no to your base. We don't want your military base. Cameroon, the same thing. Dahomey, the same thing. I say Dahomey because they call it Republic of Benin, but it's in the old name is Dahomey. We know. And the reason I know all of this is because our ancestors are telling us straight away, those names are going to come back. I don't just say this name for like that. There's a reason why. I say the old names because we are breathing life back into our kingdoms. And nothing on this planet can stop it. It is our time now in Africa, on the African continent. And we need to, you know. Yes. And do not be obsessed with outsiders. Take care of your home. And they are not better than you. Fair is fair. Absolutely. I love that comment. I love that comment. I'm pinning that comment again. It is important as Africans that we understand that we have to make sure that we do not allow these religions to occupy our minds, because the minute it occupies our mind, it renders us incapable of taking action to solve our problems. I kid you not. We will spend hours, days, years defending something that is taking away, allowing and enabling military foreign forces to come and literally, look, let me be very, very clear. All of the military trucks that you see in those countries, all of them, they go at night. They take your resources. They put it in that truck. And like my brother said, and Queen Selwa said, they do not, you as an African country, if those bases come in there, you are not allowed to go and search in those trucks or their bases what they are taking. That's the reality. So why have them there? They are serving their own interest alone, not the people of Africa. That is why we're saying it. Kick the colonials and their bases out of Africa. That is what must happen. Please share this message. All of us, we need to be cognizant of what is going on. And our people back home, make them aware that when they see the external, the military, those military forces, and they're smiling and they say they're giving sweets and everything else, don't fall for it. Their plan is to make sure that there's division in your community so they can take the mineral resources. If they, everywhere that they're going in Africa, everywhere that they're having military bases and areas of interest, there are areas where there's what? mineral resources. Go and check it. I did a program. I did 20 countries. I did 20 countries. And in those 20 countries, all of them, the reason why the military were there was because those countries have mineral resources. That is why they are there. And they say they want to restore peace. They want to stop fighting. It's a lie. They are creating fighting to take those resources. Whilst the people are fighting each other, they come and take the resources. Mali people is begging, Lady Voir. Can you provide the evidence of that, please, Lady Voir? Because from what we are hearing, the Mali government is working with others, and they're getting grains from, for example, I heard they're getting grains from Russia. Let me see if I got that report out. Let me quickly read that to you. I mean, I do follow things a little bit. I'm not 100%, but it is very important that we understand that there is a game being played here, and we should not necessarily play that game. And the way it is better for Africa to be free. Mali France was taking the gold, and the gold, the uranium, and whatever else Mali had for free. That's the reality of it, and that is why we shouldn't rush to say, "Oh, they are not helping," or we should be very cognizant of what is being done here. I'll check that information, and thank for putting that out there. Let me see. But the question you should be asking is, if anybody in Mali is suffering, then France should be giving back what they stole. France should be giving back what they stole from the Malians. For over 40 years, in 14 African countries, France was just looting resources left, right, and center. And they were giving the people the pact for the continuation of colonization. Pact. That's what they were feeling, forcing these countries to sign. And it's only until now that Mali, we didn't know what to do with it. So you are so Ginger Giant, so that justifies them coming to take it, right? Is that what you're saying? How would you feel that if you had resources in UK here and you weren't able to use it, but then somebody came and took it from you? How would you feel? I'm talking about the people there are good people in Europe. The government are the problem. There are good people in Europe. It's the government who are instigating oppression of Africans on the African continent. That's the problem. And I hope I'm making this clear now. So when you laugh and you say you didn't know what to do with those resources, we did know. But when France forces you to sign a pact telling you that you cannot, there are no good people in Africa. Well, that is your opinion. Me, I know there are good people in Europe. In Africa, there are very, very good people also. But if you allow the lies that has been told by the system, if you believe in that lie, then I'm here to educate you. Africans are very welcoming. The very fact that you are able to go freely into Africa shows the welcoming manner of Africans, accommodating. The fact that they allowed you to have to speak in your language shows our accommodation. So to say that there are no good people in Africa, that's a misconception. I don't blame you. Is it a horrible place? Well, it depends on. Look, a lot of people can come into UK and talk about the horrible way they've been treated. I can give you instances of my horrible treatment I've received in this country as well. But that's not. Look, Ginger, don't generalize. I'll tell you one little tip. Please don't generalize. If you do, you are displaying ignorance. And if we are trying to build Africa, we moved away. We are moving away. I'll do what I want. Of course you will do what you want, my brother. Ginger Giant, I'm not stopping you. Nobody's stopping you. But what I'm saying is to respect, Well, exactly. Well, I mean, look, what I'm saying is this. When we as Africans are fixing, you've come onto this platform now, and you started attacking now. And I've been talking, I've not said, I've said to people, PH came on earlier and said about, oh, Africans are this and that. And I said, look, the people of Europe don't know what their government is doing. And it's important that the people know. And I've just sat down here talking about solutions among Africans, you know. But I don't understand why your way that you're coming around is to attack. And that says more about you than me. You know, I'm clear. What we do on this platform, since Newa, the platform where we speak truth to power, is to educate our people, to enlighten, to open our minds, to sweep away the cobwebs of religion, of Islam and Christianity from the minds of our people, because they've used it to enslave the minds of our people. We are strong, yours weren't. No, that's not true. That's not true. My ancestors are so strong that I am still here as a black man, despite the enormous amount of injustice that has been heaped on Africa. You do need to have a thing, Ginger Giant. Have a thing. It is not about the African ancestors we've been here for eons before your ancestors were born. Huh? They haven't let me down. No. My ancestors are here. Listen, we don't want to go down this road. I know what you're trying to do. All I'm saying, for example, it is in time now, all our ancestral sculptures stolen from Africa must be returned. You can't blame the people who you oppressed for their oppression. You have to blame those who carried out the oppression. You can't blame the people who you oppressed, who the governments of Europe oppressed. We have to blame the oppressors. The oppressors are the European government. It's important to say that. So, the fact that we had many African countries, the fact that Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Senegal are saying openly now that it is time for France. France must they are taking the boots of France off their neck, shows that Africa is awake. So I'm not going to stoop to the level of, I don't know what you're trying to do, Ginger, whatever, Giant. I don't know what you're trying to do. But look, the people solving the problem of Africa will mean that Africans will not come to UK. Do you get it? We are trying to solve your own problem. And to be able to solve it, we are telling you that your governments, they are sending military men to go and kill, rape, pillage, and take the booty back, like they did in the Benin 1897, that they did, all the Benin bronze. They need to stop. That's what I'm saying. Okay? So, okay. Well, that's why we're saying to you, Ginger Giant, please go ahead and keep saying that. I'll take screenshot and we will talk about it. We will use it as a discussion point. We're going to use you as a discussion point, Ginger Giant. So I've got a screenshot. Don't worry. So keep it coming. Keep it coming. So please, yeah, loads of homeless people in UK. Exactly. They don't say that. So keep it coming, Ginger Giant. But you know what, Ginger Giant, I think I've given you enough time. Go ahead. And, I am proud of my ancestors. My ancestors, they follow the ways of the moon and the sun and the cycle of the earth. That's my ancestors. Okay? And it's for my ancestors. You marvel, a lot of Europeans marvel at the work of our ancestors. And I am happy you can say that. Look, all we are saying, in the museums, what are in the museums all over Europe? Is it not the artifacts and the sculptures made by our African ancestors? Is it not? Is it not? So that's what we're saying. All we are saying is that those resources, those artifacts from our ancestors must come back. So if you're going to talk about attacking and all that, that's not what we're interested in. All we're saying to you is that to stop, Africans don't want to come to Europe. We are just saying to the UK, to the governments in Europe, stop sending military into Africa to destabilize Africa. Because when you do that, the people will run here. You can help us pass the message to your government. You can help us pass the message. Because the governments, the UK, US, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, They send military. They went military into Africa to destabilize Africa. Even now, for our resources, they must stop. But it is not even up to them now. The African governments are deciding. Burkina Faso has said, you must go, said to France. Mali said, you must go to France. Niger said, you must go to France and UK, US. And US is refusing to leave. US is refusing to leave. US is refusing to leave. And that is a sovereign land. And now Niger has now put 1,000 Russians in the same in the same military base with the US on the Niger soil, because US doesn't want to leave. US, gentle giant, US doesn't want to leave. Why doesn't US want to leave Niger? Why? When Niger, the people who own the land, who are the sovereigns, are saying to Germany and to US and France, it's time up. We don't want you anymore on our land. Leave. And the US are refusing. Now they have the prospect of going in the same place. The Russians are in the same military base. Let me show you a picture. If you are watching on YouTube, let me go and show you the base. I'm just here to educate. I'm just here to educate. So if you are watching me on YouTube, you can see Citizen AY. There is a picture. And in that picture, I kid you not, the US is refusing to leave a base that Niger has told them. And now they have now got the Russians for company. And that is it, So that it just tells you, when the people, when the house owner says to the guest, I think it's time for you to leave, the guest has no right to say, no, I'm not leaving. The guest must leave. You get it? I'm sorry. you have to leave. You don't have a right to impose yourself on the house owners. They pay money for it. Yeah, but Niger don't want them. Niger don't even want their base. They don't want their money. They just say, just leave, because they know what they've been doing. And thankfully now, Nigeria is saying no, because everybody is in uproar now in Nigeria. People are now saying, no, we don't want it. We don't want the US base, because we are having problems with many of the weapons that are coming. It comes into the hands of the bandits, has been found its way from the French forces. That's the reality. So this is, yeah, of course, Farida, the government system is corrupt. And this is why it is so important to support the likes of the men that you see in the picture there. Those men there, we are supporting them. Because as in Goita, when they are told to leave. Exactly. And they are told to leave. They must leave. Exactly. Oh, they'll die of hunger. Oh, is that why they are staying? Oh, I see. So you mean that all of the freebies that they're getting will stop? So that's why they don't want to leave at all cost. Oh, I get it. That's, yeah. Yes, Africa needs great leaders, not bow down ones. Exactly. So, see, this is it. Danatete, I know. I was just playing in jest against so that the gentle giant can find something to talk about. So what we are saying is this: US, France, and all of the Western powers, they need to leave Africa alone. They cannot continue to destabilize Africa and then blame Africa for the destabilization. That is what is happening. They create the problems and then they blame Africans for the problem on the African soil. That is what I'm saying, and that is what I am really, really saying. And for now, as you can see on the map, you see that Burkina Faso has said no more. Mali has said no more. Niger have said no more. Senegal now is saying no more. And it's going to get bigger. More and more Africans are realizing that for Africa to be stable, it needs to remove the external forces that have been blamed, you know. Of course, and that is why, well, you can blame Africa if you want, if that's what you want. This is no longer about blame. I am looking at the actions of the great leaders that you see above me. These are great leaders who are working for the African people. Every single one of those leaders, when they go out, when any of them goes out, come and see the crowd that fills the stadium. General Chani, the crowd that comes out to visit him, to see him, fills the stadium. Ibrahim Traore, the crowd that comes to see him, fills the stadium. Asim Goita, the crowd that comes to see him, fills the stadium. President Faye, the crowd that comes, and the people are supporting them. The people of Niger were carrying placards saying, US, leave now, no negotiation. The people. So that's the people talking. That's the people of Africa talking. And now, the foreign government, the government of Europe must listen. And I hope that the people of Europe will tell their government, you must listen to what the people that you've gone into the land says. If they say leave, you must leave. If they say leave, you must leave. This is what I'm saying. I use absolutely nothing from Africa. You'll be fucked without us. You think so? Okay, let us try that then. Ginger, I'm going to take a screenshot of that because I'm going to use it as a discussion topic later on. Don't worry. You're giving me enough stuff to have a discussion, Ginger Giant. We will... Africans, I need you, everybody who was on this broadcast, do you think Africa will be fine? Do you think Africa will... Do you agree that Africa will be fine once the Western powers leave? Do you agree that we will be fine? We don't need to have them in our midst because they've caused oppression. Do you agree? Please type 1 if you agree with me. Do you agree that Africa will be fine without the interference of the Western powers in Africa? Please type yes. Okay, type yes. Type yes. Or 111. Okay, 1. Yes, 1. Yeah, 1. Just do 1. Sorry. Type 1. Type 1. Everybody type 1. If you agree, type 1. If you... 1. I want to say 1. Just 1. If you disagree, type 2. If you agree, type 1. If you disagree, type 2. See, 1. Africa Moon, made the vid. Do you... Exactly. So I'm seeing 1s now. So it is clear. Africans know. Everybody's typing 1. So Gentle Giant, I mean, whatever you call yourself, Giant, whatever you call yourself, people are saying we will be all right without your interference. You see? They'll be, Ginger Giant, you don't need to abuse. That's unbecoming. You don't need to abuse. We're here talking about real issues. I'm not going to abuse you. You know, I don't fall for Africa. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I'll ask again. Well, of course, the extremists, we are talking about, when we say everything leaves Africa, we are talking about including the religion. We don't want any of the foreign religions, Islamic or Christian, on African soil. It is destructive. So these are facts. So we don't even, look, let Africa, 4 or 5 of for Africa. I see what you mean. Yeah, but people have said yes. So we needed to just do that for Ginger Giant. So he can understand that Africans are not afraid to live on their own. My ancestors, they built kingdoms. You see the bronze head of Benin, the bronze head of Ife, Olokun of Ife. It is in the British Museum right now. Gentle Giant, the Olokun of the Olokun of Ife, the bronze head. It is in the British Museum right now, and it is making money. It is my ancestors. We are demanding for it back. Okay, that is a fact. So when you say that we don't have anything, or you don't, we can't live with it, you're the ones who, I'm afraid your governments are the ones that I cannot do without Africa. Africa can do without them. Africa, we as Africans, we can do without any of the Western powers coming to our country, to our Africa. But the Western powers cannot do without Africa because of our resources. You see, Africa, gentle giant, let me tell you a story. In case you, gentle giant, try and understand this. Over 30, 40, 50% of the mineral resources in the world is in Africa. Yes. Yes. So, Europe can't do without Africa. Now, we are happy with that. We are happy that you cannot do without. But what we are not going to accept, what we should not accept, is you oppressing us in our land, calling us names, and looting from us, and then blaming us for the problems you create. Now they talk about immigration. Gentle Giant, you're talking about, oh, we should go back home. But did you know that your government are the ones who are going to destroy many African nations, African kingdoms, and they steal their resources, and they cause wars? So people have to end up coming to Europe and to US because of the actions of your government, Gentle Giant. That's the reality of it. That's the reality. So this is not, this is not about weakness. No. We've not accepted it. This has been imposition, Gentle Giant. This is an imposition. Okay? So you can laugh all you want. But we are not going to, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to ignore the comments of Gentle Giant. He can sit down and watch. Our focus remains the same. Guys, what we want to do, every one of us, please, as Africans, we need to start letting our people know that they must reject all the foreign national bases in their land. They have to tell them to go out. The people of Niger, they have done it. The people of Niger said these words. Let me see if I can show you. They said to US, leave now. We don't want you anymore on our land. You must go. You have to go. They said that. They said it to France. They said it to all of those. I'm not interested in what is happening in Europe. That is your area. But what we are saying, the Western Union thieves are the weak ones. Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to pin that comment. And it's very important to understand that what we are saying here, it is clear to us that the cause of the immigration into Europe is the destabilization effect of the military forces that Europe and US has been sending into Africa to destabilize Africa so they can take the resources out. So we are saying, as Africans, every single base, foreign base, must leave Africa so that Africa can have peace and our people will not be running to Europe or be coming to Europe. That's, we don't need it. We don't need those bases. Those bases are destroying destroying our African societies, and they are causing division. And we are saying to every Western government, we now see that you are a destabilizing force on the African continent. You must leave. You must leave. South Africa is saying the same. Now they don't need us in US base. Exactly. There you go. Pin the comment. So you can see now. So Gentle Giant, I hope you are seeing all of this. Gentle Giant. This is not about a personal attack. You see me? I'm not. There's nothing you can say to me to get me riled up. Nothing. Because this is not about you. It's about African people trying to solve African problems. You always say, many people will say Africans can't solve their problems. Well, we now know why. Because African minds have been occupied with religion. Remove religion, we solve our problems. And that's what I'm trying to tell our people. Those bases, we must kick the colonials and their bases out of Africa. That is how Africa will find its feet and grow. And we must build our nations, and we have free movement. As Africans right now, you're not free to move around in Africa. As Africans right now, we are not free to move around in the African continent. When my ancestors were running things, Africans are known as traders. The entire continent, we traded in our resources. Oh, I've got this, you got that. We did trade by barter. Then we did cowrie shells. That's my history. I can tell you my history. You know, so don't try and tell me something else. You could try, but hey, you know, I'm gonna leave that to you. But I'm telling you that what I am saying to you is this: Africans are now saying we want our continent to function, and we now know the problems. The problems has been created. No visa, no borders. Thank you very much, Ogun. I love that. Yes. So that is what we're saying. We don't need all this foreign visa, those foreign borders. We need us to be allowed to be able to have our, in the olden days, you have the Yoruba groups. They have their own areas and they interacted. We don't need foreign borders. The foreign borders are now in position. We need to be speaking our own language. Why? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. 1 second. Yeah, thank you. We're back now. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, my voice. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. So, Africans, we need to be speaking in our own language on our own continent. We are no longer going to be seeing ourselves as francophone or anglophone. I am a Yoruba man. If you come to my country, if when we get Yoruba nation, when we build it, I will speak Yoruba. Whoever wants to come to my country will have to get a translator in English. We do not want francophone speaking Africa, anglophone speaking Africa. We are not colonies of Europe. We are not, and we need to reject all of that. So this is all about waking up ourselves as Africans, because we see that the devastating effect of all of these Western armies has destroyed the fabric of the African society, and it behoves on us as Africans to fix our homeland. We must do, you know. Yeah, you see now, Windrush Ruby. So now listen to this now. So the US has taken over an airport terminal in Ghana on a permanent basis. Let me pin that up. You see, we need to focus on Ghana. People of Ghana, you need to wake up. And this is why programs like this is important, because we are bringing out information. So the US now is now taking over an airport terminal in Ghana. That violates the sovereignty. It violates the sovereignty. Let me find that now. Let me see. Let me get that. I'm going to do some research. So US, once I'm here now, let me check this now. US has taken over. US takes over. US has taken over. Has taken over an airport terminal. Let me see. Terminal in Ghana. Yeah? In Ghana. On a permanent basis. Let me see. I want to find that information and I'm going to read it on air as soon as I see it. On a permanent basis. Yeah? Let's have a look at what happens. Because we do this on a live basis. Here we go. So, I have a report that came out in 2020 from Ghana Web. So I'm trying to read that. So this is from Ghana Web, and it says, Aviation Minister Joseph Kofi Adda has revealed that the United States military has secured some parts of the Kotoka International Airport for its military operations. Ghanaians, wake up. Send them packing. Ghanaians, were they invited? They weren't. The arrangement, according to the minister, is part of the Defense Cooperation Agreement signed by two countries, subsequently approved by the Parliament in 2018. Why is it? Anytime you sign this kind of agreement, it means that you are not a sovereign. Those are questionable leaders. Kofi Addo, whatever his name, President Kofi Addo is not doing right by the people of Ghana at all. I'm very, very dismayed because Dr. Kofi Addo is talking about that they signed an agreement. And to whose benefit is it to take over an international airport? What about the services for the people in that area? Was that being factored in? And why should a foreign country have a base in a sovereign country? Would US allow Ghana to have a military base in the US? Would US allow Ghana to have a military base in the US? The answer is no. And why is US in Ghana? I'll give you a reason why US is in Ghana. They want to be in control of the gold in Ghana. Thank you very much, Ogun. Yes. So they want to be in control of the gold in Ghana. This is about strategic control. They use military force, and then that control leads to other things. And we need to wake up. We have to wake up. This is not acceptable. And with Ghana, the people of Ghana, I'm going to be doing shows about this. I've got the thing, and whoever put that up, let me thank my brother that brought that up. And I'll thank him very much for bringing that to our attention. The Windrush Ruby, thank you very much for that information, because it is very important that we know these kind of things. It is very important that we know these kind of things. And in fact, we should be doing a research. All of us as Africans, we should be checking every country. What country, how many bases are there? How many foreign bases are there in each of the African countries? And who are the bases, there we go. You see, now we are getting discussion. So Windrush, can I add you? Let me bring you on board. Windrush, my brother, let me see if I can bring you on board, because I quite like what you're saying. And these are things, you know what? Actually, email me behind. You see, they have two bases in. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. So you see that now. So they have two bases in Kenya. This is what we need to be awake to as Africans. You are telling us that Africa is bad, Africa is this, Africa is that. But you are putting bases in Africa to destabilize Africa. That's hypocrisy. We mustn't allow this anymore. UK has a base in Kenya also. You see, these are information that we should know, that we should be aware of. I didn't even know that. And I know what happened in the colonial area. We know what happened in the colonial area when UK was running Kenya, and how they were killed. I don't want to say too much, but anyway, these are really UK government, I add, not the people, UK government. But anyway, it is very important for us to begin to, as Africans, work collectively to ensure that all African countries no longer allow the Western powers to have bases on the African continent, because they have been destructive. They have been holding back the progress of Africans on the African continent. They've created problems, and then they blame those problems on the Africans, when it is patently obvious that those military bases are used to destabilize sections, communities, entire nations. Their role is to destabilize, to cause problems, to cause inter-tribal wars, literally. Rwanda, Tutsi and Hutsis in Rwanda, for example. The French, that's what they did. 800,000 Africans were killed. The objective was to control them. This is what we're saying. These are facts. So we don't come here and we're not coming here to just talk about things in a flippant manner. When we talk as Africans about this, we are coming to try and look at solving African problems collectively as Africans. You're welcome to be part of the discussion as Europeans if you want, but it's nothing to do with you. It's genocide. Thank you. It is genocide. Yeah. So, oh my goodness, look at this now. So, my brother just said it is worse than that. My brother, I need to do this. I want to bring you as a guest. Can I add you as a guest? Yeah, I'm going to invite you. And no, 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 no. So, Danatete, do you want to join? Let me invite Danatete as well. Africa Cool Moon. I'll invite you all if you want to come in. If you want to come in, if you're able to join, come. So, Windrush, I'd like to hear from you because these are information that many of us need to hear. And when we say, so we are right to say that we must kick the colonials and their bases out of Africa because it's been a destructive element. It's been a destructive force destroying Africa. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Windrush Ruby. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It is very important, you know. Oh, the minute Africa is free to trade among ourselves, before Europeans came, we traded among ourselves. Right now in Africa, we are not free to move around, PH, in case you didn't know. To get from one country to the next, we need visa papers. We need to get 2 weeks. You can get paperwork for that will delay you. But you as an European, I believe you are an European, PH, you can move freely across the whole of Africa. And you get visa at point of entry. But Africans on the African continent, you have to go and get a visa. You have to wait. You have to come back. That is why Africa is not working. We are not. Let me tell you more, PH. 82% of the trade that is done in Africa goes straight out of Africa to the colonial powers. 82%. And the reason why it's 82% is because they don't allow Africa to move and trade freely among ourselves. These are facts. I can provide you evidence, PH and Gentle Giant. These are facts. We don't come here and just talk nonsense. We do research. We do research to find out what is going on. You see? So, okay, that's fine. Don't worry, take it easy. That's fine. So, those of you telling us, if you are blaming Africa for not being able to fix things, but we are telling you, when France alone tells 14 African countries to go that they must deposit their GDP, their money that they make in their country into the French bank, but then you blame Africa for Africa not developing. That's hypocrisy. If you think about what you're saying, if you think, this is for Europeans, if you think about what you're saying when you say you are blaming Africa, if you really look at it, France sitting on the necks of 14 African countries, taking their wealth, taking their resources, taking everything from them, controlling everything they do. They have to force visa. They even go and invest their money in the French stock exchange. And the people have to borrow their own money. And then you say, oh, Africa is not developing. We're not dealing with the causes. The colonial structure is at the root of the impoverishment of Africa. The colonial banking system is at the root of the exploitation of Africa. The World Bank, the IMF, all of their policies, AFRICOM, the religion, the education, all of the entire structure is aimed at making sure that Africa doesn't develop. And that is why we have to free ourselves from these things. Another thing I would add, Africa has 55 UN members, the largest bloc in the entire UN. Africa has 55 nations in the UN, the largest bloc. And Africa has not got one security vote. Not one security vote in the UN. Tell me, of what use is the UN to Africa? We know that Africa is of use to the UN to exploit the resources, because the UN vehicles in Congo was found, several of them have been found to be full of gold and diamond that they put in the UN vehicle to take out of the country. That's, I'm telling you, there are pictures. There are pictures of this. So when we talk about Africa needing to be on its own, we know what we're saying. We don't just come here and just spew nonsense. You know? Yes, we must tear up any contract with France, any contract with any European country, any of those EU countries. We want nothing to do with them. Just leave us be. Leave us be. Yes, I've got the book here. I've got the book. How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. Walter Rodney. I've got it and I've read it. It's a very, in fact, let me read a section of it. Very good point. 1 second. Let me read a section of it for you. I've got it here. So, those of you watching us on YouTube, here you go. And those of you who are How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. So, let's just flip a page. So, now. So, it has already, I'm reading page 103, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. Technical stagnation and distortion of the African economy in the pre-colonial epoch. It has already indicated that in the 15th century, European technology was not totally superior to that of other parts of the world. There were certain specific features which were highly advantageous to Europe, such as shipping and to a lesser extent guns. Europeans trading to Africa had to make use of Asian and African consumer goods, showing that their system of production was not absolutely superior. It is particularly striking that in the early centuries of trade, Europeans relied heavily on Indian clothes for resale in Africa. They also purchased clothes in several parts of West Africa coast for the resale elsewhere. Morocco, Mauritania, Senegambia, Ivory Coast, Benin, Yorubaland, Loango were all exporters to other parts of Africa through European middlemen. Yet, by the time Africa entered the colonial area, it was concentrating almost entirely on the export of raw cotton and importing of manufactured cotton. I've just read one page, and it tells you how they deindustrialized Africa. The book is here. Page 103. I've just picked one page. I'm not here to argue. We are here to discuss and to plan a way forward as Africans. Whoever is hearing, I'm telling you now, our ancestors, my African ancestors, and may it please them and they guide us through as we achieve independence, total freedom for Africa. They are with us in this journey. They are telling us that the suffering of 500 plus years is enough. Enough is enough. And they are empowering us. And I want every community in the African continent to know that you have the solution to your problem within your community. You don't have to look to the sky. You don't look to Allah. You don't look to Jesus. In your own community, you have the solutions. And that is the message that we must reiterate in every community. Because I'm giving you evidence of how we were deindustrialized. My people in Yoruba land, there is a particular kind of dye that we do. When you make that dye, it's called asu. I forgot what it's called. That dye, if you use it on a cloth, it will never fade. It will never fade. And they still today, they don't know how they did it. It will never fade. When you put it in it, it stays the same. That's technology. But they tell you that Africa doesn't know anything. You want to believe that? You go ahead. But I know what I know. I know my ancestors were great people. And they are within my veins. And they are telling us, it is time. Form the circle. Complete the circle. Ancestors, the sculptures and the artifacts, and we the Africans. That's the circle. It is coming back together. And nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop it. So, anyway, I'm just putting that as a little point. So, thank you very much for bringing that up. You know? Yeah, exactly. Bullying is over. Exactly. So, we are not here. And we are not here to bully Europe. We're not here to bully US. But we are here to say we are standing. Ashe, 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 Oturibe. Ẹ̀yin alálẹ̀ ẹgbẹ̀ wa o gbogbo tí a bá sọ ń sìn pé kí ká fi rí ọ̀nà àbáyọ ká fi gba òmìnira wa nílẹ̀ Áfíríkà lápapọ̀ ẹ bá wa fa àṣẹ sí ẹ tì wá lẹ́yìn ẹ fi atẹ́fẹ́fẹ́re kẹ́ fi gbé wa débi tí ẹ ká dé láṣẹ Èdùmàrè àṣẹ àṣẹ àṣẹ. Now what I'm saying, I'm just speaking to my ancestors. And at any point of any time I can speak to my ancestors. That's how it is. And I need you to do that. I need you as an African, speak to your ancestors at any point, at any time. You can do it. Don't wait for any command. Let us pray. Now, you have direct access to your ancestors. You don't need to any Bible to construct you when to pray. You don't need any Quran. You can speak to your ancestors. I've just done it in front of you. You can do it in your communities. This is how we are going to free ourselves. When you free your mind, nobody can enslave you. When you free your mind, nobody, and I say nobody on this planet can enslave you. Our ancestors are with us, and we need to do this work. It's you and I. We have to see you are my reflection, and I am your reflection. We need to build trust in our community. You can see with all of this, I mean, now we now know how our trust in our communities were broken. You see all of those military bases, they're there to create division, mistrust. For as long as they remain in our midst, our people will continue to mistrust and distrust ourselves, because those military forces are there designed to cause war at every point, so we never see eye to eye. You see why they have to leave our African continent? I hope you are seeing it. I hope you are seeing it. This is what we need to do. So US must leave. US must leave Africa. We are not going to disrupt or touch anything, and I don't advocate anybody doing anything in the US on the US land or in UK or no. Our focus as Africans is to make sure that our trust and our peace in Africa is attained by the people of Africa. It is nothing to do with going, and it's not about anger. In fact, the less angry we are, the quicker we will achieve our goal of freedom. We need clear mind. Every African, you need to have clear mind to focus on the goal. What is the goal? What is the goal in the distance? What is that goal? That goal is African freedom. We work to fix it. We work to fix it together. That is our goal. So we haven't got time to be bitter. Oh, they did this. It's done. It's done. But we use it as reference points. It doesn't mean you're going to not talk about it. Those artifacts that I spoke about that are in European museums, we will call it home. We will call it home, one way or the other. My ancestors have a way of calling things home. I won't tell you about that. But I know when the time comes, we will call it home. We will call it. My ancestors, let me say that again. My ancestors, they have a way of calling things home. When the time comes, when the circle is complete, we will call it home. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it there. But like I said, right now, our communities, it is now obvious that without kicking out these military bases from within every part of Africa, we will know no peace. We will know no peace. So this is the task not just for one person or two people. This is a task for the entire African continent and those of us who are abroad who have this information to start sharing on ground. These forces that come and they give you children sweets and they smile and they have got this they put the white van or whatever. It's all a ploy. If we want peace on the African continent, it has to be without those military bases. Those bases are there to divide, to destroy, to prevent any unity, to cause chaos, to cause distrust within our communities. That is why we need to wake up. Please, I urge you, those of you watching, share this broadcast. Help us reach as many people as possible. I've got about 6 minutes, I think, that I'm going to probably be wrapping this up. But I need us all. Please, thank you. Continue to give us thumbs up and share and and make sure this broadcast reaches as many people as possible. We've spoken about a number of issues, but at the core of what we're saying as Africans, we should chase out. There's only one land, and that is owned by the Almighty Father. I'm sorry, I disagree completely. We don't have to, but on this platform, we are talking about Africa and how we can free ourselves. You can talk about the pie in the land that you're talking about, that if you're talking Christianity, I presume, it is a pie in the sky. It is a falsehood. It is a lie. The people of Africa are enslaved. What is Christianity doing about the fact that they're using military to destroy African continent? What are they doing? What's that? Well, you come and talk to me about. You see, when you come and talk about Christianity and Islam, you've been already colonized. On this platform, we haven't got time for that. I'm sorry, and I've got good. I say it out. I know I've lost friends for this, but I'm going to be true to my own ancestors. My ancestors, they run through my vein. I am a Yoruba man. Ìṣẹ̀rí ọlọ́kọ̀, ọmọ olóńlá, ọmọ agbódèrè. Yes, that is me. It's who I am. I know who I am. And I am proud of Ifa. And it is part of who I am. And I'm not going to allow anybody to demean my African spirituality. It is me and I am it. And my ancestors are in me. It is all one. And I'm proud of who I am. Europeans are proud of who they are. They know their history. Arabs are proud of who they are. They know their history. Why should you tell me that my own ancestors is wrong? I should turn away from them. Why? You don't have that right. I don't give you that right. I don't give you that right. And you do not, in any way, shape, or form, question my ancestors. Particularly when you have their stuff in your museums making money. Don't you even try it. I will pull you up straight up right there. Bring Prince Charles, bring anybody. I will say this respectfully, of course. These are the facts. You do not take my stuff. You do not demean my ancestors. My ancestors are talking through me. Don't just make, this is not just a game here. No. We need to wake up as Africans. Be proud. Step in power. Visualize your ancestors. They are speaking. They are all around you. They're in the air. Our ancestors are in the air around us. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. Cause none of it can stop other time. How long must they kill our prophets? Whilst we stand aside and look, oh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing? This song of freedom is all I ever hear. Oh yeah, redemption song. Redemption song. Africans, the time is now. The time is now. Please, disabuse your mind. Anytime you find yourself arguing about a Bible or a Quran and your people are dying every day from hunger, I'm sorry, those books have taken over your mind. Your focus must be how to free your people from their enslavement. And it starts in our mind. Our people, we have fish in our sea. We have oil. But we are so busy praying that we are allowing those who use the military to cause divisions, to take those things away from us. And we are hungry in a land of plenty. It's about mental enslavement. We have been mentally enslaved. I know when I say this, when you mention mental enslavement and you mention Christianity and Islam, oh, you are offending some people. You know, yes, thank you. European churches are all closing down. Thank you. Let me put that up. European churches, corner 661, are all closing down. They don't believe in the nonsense they are selling. Thank you very much. Selling to us. Look, my brother, thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful. You see, it's not me. Look, what is in the air is bigger than me. What is in the air is bigger than me, is bigger than you. There is no force on this planet that can stop Africa uniting and freeing itself. There is no force. What we need to do is believe in our ancestors and their guidance, and they will guide us as share. So shall it be. They will guide us to free ourselves. We're not going to interfere in anybody's land. But Africa must be free. You and I are part of that struggle. And we need to do it. Focus relentlessly, 24/7. Eat, drink, think, sleep, African. Empower, share knowledge, awaken, empower people in our community. When a community comes together, they can feed themselves. They don't need any help from anybody. Somebody's going to go and say, I'm going to bring grain from Ukraine. We have millet. Our soil, 60% of the world's fertile soil is in Africa. We are literally the bread basket of the world. But because of all these wars and the division and the carving of Africa into different parts, they've carved it so that we are powerless. Only we can free ourselves. Those who enslaved us will not do it. And it's our unity that will bring this about. And I'm saying it clearly here. As far as Africa is concerned, we need to wake up mentally. If you're not awake mentally, you cannot do anything physically. And the key to that is our African spirituality. Because it is clear to me. Of course now, who else? The AU budget, of course, it's EU now. Of course, you know. So what we're saying is this. I hope people are looking at this and taking this on board seriously. We need to do a lot of soul search. Please, a little tip that I always give to my fellow Africans. Anytime you find yourself spending hours on the church or Bible or Quran, it is occupying your mind that is needed to fix Africa. Every single African mind is needed to come together and unite to free Africa. We need you. You may think I am your enemy when I'm telling you, please, I don't believe in Christianity. I need your mind to come back and solve African problem. But the thing is, every time you read the Bible, it's occupying your mind to prevent you from solving your own problem in your own land. It's telling you to go and look to the sky for solution. There's no solution in the sky. It's in the soil. The soil, if you protect the area and you prevent all of this foreign troops marauding and causing division, there's peace in your land. You will feed yourselves. You will feed your people. You will be happy in your land. That's the reality of it. That's why I say we must kick out the colonials and their bases out of Africa. They are divisive. They are deliberately. You see, the lack of trust in our communities is down to those bases. They are causing distrust in every part to make sure that we never unite and build peace in Africa. That's the reality of it. And we need to make our people aware of it on ground in every community. They must make sure that these people cannot stay among us. And the thing is that the same people who bring these forces, they can move freely across anywhere in Africa. But we Africans cannot move freely. Why are we allowing them to be doing that on our continent? They can move freely. They move freely in Africa. But we as Africans, and the same people who are giving you, who are putting this on you, you are believing in their gods. Wake up. Wake up. It is a ploy. It's a trick. My people, wake up. And I do hope the people of Europe and the US see that the government, this is the handiwork of their governments. The handiwork of their government has impoverished Africa. I've just showed you one book now. I just read a section inside the how Europe in the underdeveloped Africa. It is their handiwork. And we as Africans, we have every right to put a stop to it on the African continent. We cannot let it go on anymore. You cannot be seeing us as a people that you want to, they need help. No. Who needs help when you're coming into my land and you're stealing all the time? Who needs help? We need to help you to stop looting from us by making you know that what you're doing is wrong. Because you've now stealing our resources is now a way of life for many European countries. Stealing African resources in Congo, in Nigeria, in Niger until recently, in Somalia. It is a way of life. Oh, it's business to them. But stealing is stealing. In their book, in their so-called Bible, it says, thou shalt not steal. When you come into someone's land, you steal their land. You steal their people. That is stealing. You steal their artifacts. It is all stealing. Don't try and use it, fine words to try and. It's stealing. It's thieving. And in your books, both Christian and Islam, those books forbid stealing. But you justify it by calling it a different name. Oh, it's a prophet. Oh, it's a prophet of war. The spoils of war. No, you came. Nobody brought war to your door. You brought war to the door of the people on the African continent. That's the reality of it. The government state. And that's why we're saying what we're saying. It's time. We need to do what those 4 men that you see from those countries, Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Senegal, they are telling us how we can free ourselves from the enslavement that we are in. Africa is not free. Those men have kicked out. They've kicked out France, that has been looting from 4 of those countries plus another 10 for over 40 years. That's the reality. And what has the UN done about Africa looting from France looting from Africa in all those years? Nothing. Why are we part of the UN? Why is Africa part of the UN when the daylight robbery carried out by France is not being addressed? We have no security vote. None. None. Africans, we need to think about this. It's very much like Dr. Arika Nachumbo said. We should pull out of the UN. UN doesn't serve our purpose. It doesn't look at our concerns. Doesn't care about, but they want to use us for their own goals. And we should no longer allow anybody to use us. We are people on our own land. We have our own resources. We do not, Africa can exist comfortably on its own and trade comfortably, not stepping out of Africa, if we so please, because we trade. That is what we've been, it is in our DNA. Selling, trading is in our DNA. Stealing, exactly, it's robbery. Thank you. It's robbery. So when they call it, when they call it all these names, all this fancy stuff, when they call it all this fancy stuff, keep your eye on what is true. Don't listen to my words. Don't, in your own heart, is what is going on, is it right? Ask yourself, is what is going on, is it right? What answer you get back, you will already know that what is going on is wrong. Let that motivate you as an African to want to be part of the process to fix it for the collective Africans. That's what I'm saying. And if you're an European and you do know that this is wrong, what steps can you take among yourselves to make sure that you don't interfere in other people's things? Because there's causes karma and all that comes. Believe you me, it does. But hey, that's no skin on my nose. Anyway, but what I'm saying to you all is this, and I hope you take this on board. Niger, Congo is the richest country, women has, but the poorest with heavy American base. Thank you very much. You see, American base. This is wrong. These people, they have no moral authority anywhere to say anything to any African. And that's the reality. When you really look at it, they have, when you speak your truth to power, they will be reduced to a tiny ant. Literally a tiny ant. Because the truth that you speak is so powerful, it is so overpowering, that anything no matter how their stature or whatever, they know that there's nowhere for them to hide. There's nowhere for them to hide. Nowhere. And all of their actions or whatever, taking this one out, and all of that cannot hide that fact. We're still standing after 500 years. We're still standing. And there's still the oppression, we're still standing. And yet somebody will say, oh, we're weak. They don't know the meaning of what it is to be weak. To be weak is when you have power and you know something is wrong, but you continue in the road that is wrong. That is being weak. When you use your power to oppress, knowing fully well it's wrong, that is a sign of weakness. But hey, what do I know? I don't know anything. I don't know anything. You know, that's just me. So I'm just saying this now. But us as Africans, it is on us now. Those 4 men there, Ibrahim Traore, General Chani, Asim Goita, President Faye, all of them, they are showing us that with commitment, the support of their people in those countries, that they are working for their people. They are doing everything. And we need more men like that across Africa. We do. Absolutely. It's not about shouting. It's about action. We need clear action. They've taken direct action. So much so, the most powerful country in the so-called, well, one of the most powerful. It used to be the most powerful, but now Russia is there. They're in the same base. 1,000 Russian military troops, 1,000 US troops. They are in the same base in Niger. And they cannot stop it. Africans, let's look at that. Who has the power? Who really has the power? Certainly not the US. They cannot stop Niger. Niger has exercised its sovereignty. That is a lesson all Africans must learn from. We're not saying anybody go into US. We're just saying for us to exercise our sovereignty that they like to talk about when they talk about democracy. To exercise it. Niger is exercising that sovereignty. Other parts of Africa must do the same. It's a gradual process. Join us in this journey. I'm going to be rounding up here. I'm going to stop here. I thank you all very much for joining this broadcast today. It's very, very important that you share this broadcast. I'll probably put some clips up. Please make sure you follow. And of course, please don't forget, I've got 2 more names now that is going to be joining the family, the Africa Zoom 54 family. So they will be joining us, and we will do something this week. But you can also play your role. Speak your truth to power. Do your research. Even if it's only one African that you're letting them know this information, the thing is we have to keep this ball rolling in every part of the African community. Don't leave it to one person. Don't leave it to 2. There's 1.4 billion Africans that we need to get through to wake them up, and to free them from bondage. 1.4 billion. 1.4 billion who don't know that they are truly blessed beyond compare in terms of the resources by their own ancestors. We can do this. I have every faith that we, the people, we have everything we need to free Africa, to solve our problems. I'll leave it at that. Thank you so very much. You've been listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak to the power. Please do share the broadcast. Follow us. Help us grow this platform. Go to YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Let me just quickly do something with that on the YouTube's front there. Those of you watching, please make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button, give us thumbs up, and of course, share the broadcast and leave comments as much as you can. And I want to say I'm so grateful for all your comments. Subscribe to Citizen AY, hit the notification button, give us thumbs up on YouTube, and help us grow the platform. On YouTube now, we are over 3,000 subscribers. I'm very grateful for your support. Help us grow more. Please, I'm sure we can do a little bit more. I'd like to get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube with your support, and because the more we do this, Connor 61, thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, this is what it is about. And I want us all to know, please, there is not one single African that is devoid of talent. There is not one single African that is devoid of talent. Every single African has talents that we don't even know. All we need is the opportunity for that talent to come forward with the right foundation. That foundation is Africa. You and I, we can make it a reality for the coming generations. I ask you, join in this struggle. Let us call, work together, make sure that all of these bases are out of Africa. In Ghana, it shouldn't be there. In the in Southern Africa, it shouldn't be there because they are destructive. They are causing major destructions on the continent. They are holding back our development. When you cause wars, you cannot build roads in a place where there's wars. You can't build schools. You can't build hospitals. And this bases, they are there to instigate, ensure, to remain whilst they're looting the resources, to remain in chaos. We want none of the Western bases on our soil. This is something we must all do together. Thank you so very much. You've been listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak to power. Please share this broadcast. Follow me, and I'll endeavor to follow as many as possible. I hope you found this message beneficial. Please do share. We need to wake each other up. And please, I need you to wake up from the mind control that religions of Islam and Christianity represent. You need to wake up. We need you awake to take part in fixing Africa. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Bye for now. Take care. Bye. Okay. So those of you on YouTube, thank you so very much for listening. Please do share. AKB Ventures, thank you. Africa will be break again. Yes, P Funk 100. Get them out. Get them out. Thank you so much, and I thank you all. I'll be back later on. I might be back later on tonight. If not, it'll be next. It'll be in a couple of days, a day or so. But I will try and do as much as I can. But for now, I thank you for joining. You've been listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. I'll be back later on. Please share. Don't forget, subscribe. Share this to your friends. There's a lot of work we need to do collectively. And it needs all of us to be in this struggle to save our community, to save our continent. 1.4 billion of us, there is no problem that we cannot solve. There is no problem that we cannot solve. We can. And we need to put that belief in ourselves. Don't look in the sky. Don't look no. We have the solution to our problems within our community. That is what we must be doing. Thank you so much.